All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in for another show here. We've got Caroline Korzus with us with E-Conservation Construction over in County, California. If I could talk today, it'd be great. I've been fumbling my words all day. Caroline, thank you so much for jumping on with us.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So this is another episode where we're really trying to highlight what other companies are doing during this time of COVID and kind of what's going on right now, and you know insights into how you guys have really gotten to where you are, kind of like your passion, right? Like you guys have a passion for what you do and kind of telling your story, and maybe other listeners can take some tidbits, help them out in their business. But we also want to highlight a lot of stuff that you guys do. So tell me more about you.
All right. So we are a general contractor and we focus on basically everything and anything the house needs, remodels, new additions, new home construction. And then our other head is, we do roofing, windows, exterior paint, renovations, all that sort of stuff.
Wow. Yeah, kind of like a one size fits all kind of thing.
Almost, yeah.
Almost. Do you have a market that you focus
Almost.
in? Do you focus on like high end, middle end, low end? Where do you guys focus?
Middle to high end.
Okay.
That's our focus.
I
Middle
assume
to
that
high
that's
end.
I assume that that's like the what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the normal thing over there in Orange County is typically all middle to high end, I would think.
There's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
You have like the very nice cities and then the very needy cities. There's a
Uh-huh.
little mix of everything.
Yeah. I know here in Dallas you have like Oak Cliff. Don't go to Oak Cliff. Go to North Dallas, you're good. North Dallas, you're anywhere else except for Oak Cliff. Just don't go to Oak Cliff. Um, well, cool. So how long have you guys been in business?
So we're coming up to 5 years now. I've been with the company for like 9 months now, so
Uh-huh.
I kind of know most of everything. So
And
we'll
what
see.
and what's your role with the company?
I basically do uh, lead management, office management, everything and anything the office needs except production. I just help production get their stuff done.
Hmm. So you're that one piece in the middle that if you're not there, the whole thing's a mess.
Yeah, pretty much. Like conduct it from when I'm not here somehow, so it works out.
Awesome. So I know a lot of businesses have had to shift the way that they do business. Have you guys taken a hit from this whole COVID thing right now?
I up until it came in, we were, picking up momentum, and then all of a sudden my momentum's kind of flattened it.
Yeah. What were you guys
So
doing?
yeah.
Were y'all doing a lot of marketing and advertising? What were you guys doing?
Yeah, a lot of our appointments were they were being very thorough with the regular way that we manage appointments, going and seeing the customer in person. And all of a
Mm.
sudden it's like, oh, we can't see you. And some customers are like, oh, but I need you to see me. And some customers are like, I understand, I'm gonna work with you. So it's kind of 50-50.
Have you guys
I don't
had
know
to?
if that answers the question.
Yeah. No. So y'all were doing like marketing and advertising. You were getting that momentum. Is the main bulk of your business from like referrals, or do you guys do a lot of advertising?
We do both, yeah. So we have some referrals, and then it's 50-50, I think, at this point.
Okay. Very cool. And
Yeah.
and have you guys shifted any kind of like operation? You mentioned like the homeowners are like, no, come see me. But
Right. So yeah,
you
we
guys have
do.
regulations you're having to follow, I assume.
Right. So we have the staying home at home order. So we're not restricted to only staying at home, but we have the social distancing. So keep the 6 feet minimum. Try to not, you know, be with people who are not within your household, right? So like in our office, we everybody's basically working from home,
Mhm.
and then Yeah, and if we need to interact, it's all through the web.
Sure.
And pretty much our production has it's kind of died down right now because we're like, well, we can't interact with customers. We don't want to be, you know, part of the spread.
Right.
So everything but marketing is basically shut down.
Oh no. So I've heard across all of these interviews that I've done with different companies, different contractors, a lot of people have shifted to doing like a virtual estimate. Have you guys started doing anything like that at all?
I think we're shifting that way. So where we've been doing pictures and measuring, and then we're like for some of these new additions or new constructions, where our representatives takes the phone call, talks to the customer, and then he goes out and sees it, but doesn't interact with the customer. So maybe in a time that they're not there or they're not aware he's going to be there, he just lets them know, you know, I'm going to be there later this week, and
Right.
that's it.
So I've heard a couple of people doing the estimates through like a FaceTime and like walking the customer through. So like, show me this, show me that, show me this, show me that kind of thing. Have you guys explored any of that?
I don't think that we've gone there, but I think that we have contemplated it. And then also Zoom and using, you know, because we want to keep some privacy in a way.
Right.
But yeah, we've considered, my boss said something about, you know, people wearing the iPads on their head and in that way. So it's an option that we are working towards.
Right. And what, I mean, have you guys like, what else are you guys doing like now to get new business? Have you guys like, are you ramping up the marketing? I know a lot of people are actually like pulling out of marketing, which is kind of opening it up for everybody else.
We have decided to keep going through the marketing because, you know, some of these projects take time. You know, right now you may have it in mind, but you don't have to invest in it until later. You know, like a new construction, you have to invest only in the plans, which is basically like less than 10% of the cost.
Right.
The blueprints, and then you have to wait for the city to approve them. You have to wait for the permits and everything. So we're just like, you know, right now is the time to get all that done so that when you're ready and the market's secure, you can just get the ground running.
Yeah. So y'all are like stacking your pipeline then.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like, we understand we can't go out there now, but we understand we'll be going out there in a few weeks, maybe a couple months. And we don't want to start from scratch, you know?
Right. Absolutely. I think a lot of people are, you know, they're losing business and then they're saving the money and they're pulling out of the marketing. And we see that being like a huge problem for when this whole thing clears up, because the people that go and capture more market share right now are going to double, if not triple, their business when this whole thing clears up. And it will clear up, right? That'll, you know, we will beat Corona. Corona's not the death of humanity for sure.
Right. I think a lot of it is just financial uncertainty. So I think you have like the market that's 50-50. The ones that are, you know, they've always been prepared, they have their savings and everything. And then the ones that, you know, we're already living on the edge and everything's uncertain. So they're just gonna wait. Right.
Well, what would you say to kind of, you know, somebody that that's listening to this that may need, you know, maybe they just have a small office, right? They just have a couple guys, maybe a team. You being in a position that you're at, where you're watching the lead flow and managing the production and all that stuff, you're that center point to the operations. Would you have any tips or tricks or any kind of insights into how to keep powering through?
Well, I think right now, like, you're not managing leads. You don't have all these extra things that you're usually working on. Why not focus on making sure that your website is good? Why not focus on making sure that all the ways that represent you are where you want them to be, that you never have the time to work on?
Yeah,
so that's where I'm at.
Absolutely. So are is everybody in the office with you guys? Since y'all...
No, there's nobody here.
You're the only one.
We're social distancing.
Yeah.
Everyone's working remotely. Yeah, so that was if I come in, then I'm not interacting with somebody else, and then we're not cross-contaminating.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's how we social distance and made sure that we're following the order.
Yeah. Good. Good. There's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, it's fine, and then they go hang out and party. And I actually heard a story of a guy that got coronavirus, got cured of coronavirus, and then threw a party with like 100 people and then tested positive for it again.
Oh
Like,
no.
like
Yeah,
just
no.
follow the rules, guys. But
Yeah, so
as far as the marketing side and like getting new business, I think it's vital that you shift and pivot to the market and what the market's doing. And it seems like you guys have done a pretty good job of that so far.
I think we're still learning. I mean, there's a lot of going into it that is unknown. That's why I reached out, like,
Yeah,
hey, how can you help me?
yeah,
Because this is new land to me. I may
right.
know how to use social media, I may know how to use the internet, but I may not know the specifics that work.
Yeah, yeah. And really, I think it's, if I were to shed any light, I think it's kind of surrounding yourself with the people that are doing something like that. And that's the whole point of this show, is to showcase and pull people together rather than everybody kind of competing against each other. It's kind of that abundance mindset, that there's so much to go around, that there's, you're not really competing against anybody but yourself, kind of thing. And it's your actions and your processes and how you shift that really makes the difference in where you end up at the end of this whole thing.
Right. Yeah, definitely. The abundance mind, like there's always someone who needs something, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's so
So
many. We have these websites right now pulling in more calls than we've ever seen. Um, and like people are stuck at home; they have nothing else to do, and a lot of people have something to sit on. Obviously, a lot of people don't have money to sit on, but then again, there are a lot of people that do, and if they have nothing else to do, and the wife has been contemplating this bathroom this bathroom upgrade, what better time, right? So
exactly.
yeah.
This is the time people are starting to feel that crowdedness in their home.
Yeah, because when all this isn't around, I mean, we have the busyness of our lives, right? Like, you got kids, feeding the kids, picking them up from school, dropping them off, babysitters, this, that, the other, the business, and then your own personal stuff. And it's just our days and weeks and months and years get really, really crowded. This kind of what we're seeing for the contractors that actually push forward into the marketing side of this thing, they're reaping massive benefits because everybody's lives have really opened up. Kind of, it's kind of cleared some of the congestion. Even though it's a totally new battle to have kids at home all day. I can only imagine. I don't have kids myself, but I can only imagine. Um, so obviously that's the case. Do you have kids?
Yeah, so then there's the remote learning from home,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever their schedule was at school, our teachers been providing, like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and
Yeah.
they've managed to become remote, but it's also overwhelming because they're like, okay, but you have a different control on them, because I mean, maybe you don't, but your kids
No, you're right.
will
I
react
agree with
that
you.
different to
My
your
girl,
teacher.
my girlfriend's a teacher, so I'm hearing it left and right. I completely understand exactly what you're talking about, and she's talking all the time about, like, I feel so bad that I can't like be there to help the kids. Like, I'm having to just send a video or send a lesson, and she doesn't really have that control on instilling those lessons, and it's now kind of set on you guys. How have you been with managing the home life now, which is way different, and work at the same time?
So I think a lot of it I've relied on my husband,
Uh-huh.
and he had to. It was a logarithmic learning curve on this is where you find the assignments, this is where you find the math, this is where you find the reading. And so for him, it was a huge adjustment because
Mm-hmm.
he's working from.
Right.
And then I just go and double check everything in the night. And we use the weekends now. Hey, we need to make sure that you got this concept. Let's review it.
So you're the centerpiece for the business during the day to make sure everything keeps running. And then you're also the centerpiece at home to make sure that everything's being done properly. You've got a fully loaded schedule right now.
Right. And I think it helps that there's equal contribution at home, and the people at work are responsive, like to text, emails, and all of that. That has helped move forward.
So it's really the way that I see this, like what keeps coming back into my head over and over again as you go through this and talk about it, is us coming together and working together is like
Essential.
Essential. Yeah. It's absolutely essential. I've talked to a lot of people that have done, like, I think they're giving away like a free roof to a veteran or something. I think they're doing promotions like that. I talked to somebody else that he does tile work, and he was at a job doing the tile work, and the homeowners were elderly, and they got into conversation, and he was wearing his whole suit like hazmat style to protect them and himself. But then they needed groceries, and just because he was there, he was like, let me go get you some groceries, and actually went to the store and got them some groceries. So you guys, what y'all are doing, and the opportunity that y'all have to allow the community to come together, to work together, and all of that, and to give back to the community is absolutely incredible. So, from all of us, from me, and I'm going to speak for everybody listening here, thank you for everything that you guys do.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I've seen the lines, the crowds over there before the stores open up.
Mm-hmm.
I read about it, I think just last week there's a Costco down the street, and people were like, the parking lot is full, it's wrapped around the building, and it's hard, I think. But also I think there's a neighborhood app communicating, if you need toilet paper, let me know, I just found some at this store. And people have been
cool.
Not hoarding it and making sure there's enough for everybody to go around.
Yeah, I was at Costco like 2 weeks ago, and there was a sign up that said no refunds on toilet paper.
Yeah, I think actually that's the case for a lot of the groceries right now. And so I hope that allows people who've been hoarding stuff to have what they need, and the shelves to restock for everybody else.
Right. So, man, you guys, you personally, you have a fully loaded schedule at work and at home. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people. I have a dog, so I get it gets annoying, but I can only imagine what you guys are going through, and the total shift of experience, like just life in general is crazy.
Like, I think for a lot of other people it is also about, do I go out there and do my customer service but then risk my family, which is like what doctors and nurses are risking right now, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing our best to try to keep afloat, helping everybody stay healthy.
Well, we appreciate the companies, to everybody listening, you especially, that are taking the right precautions, and you're the only one in the office right now. And then when you go see a client, you'll do the 6 feet and do the social distancing, and just make sure that you're not part of the spread. That's, essential for businesses like yours that touches so many aspects of the community on a daily basis.
Right. We're just like, we want to protect our families, and what keeps us afloat is our families that give us business. So their families. So we want to make sure we take care of our own.
Right. Well, we all, I'll speak for everybody here. Thank you for the regulations that you guys have put in place for yourselves, for your customers, for the community. Any businesses that aren't following this are only part of the problem. So thank you so much for everything you guys do. I think you guys are definitely going to survive this, obviously. A lot of businesses aren't, and it's really sad. Yeah. So if somebody were to be, go ahead.
Let's help each other,
Yeah, that's what this podcast is about. And so this was going to be my last question here of if somebody else is listening to this, that might be a mom, might be in a company, a contracting company that they're trying to figure out what to do. Any kind of tips or insights that you have found to work really well for managing both home and life, or home and work, as well as possibly continuing to grow the business? Do you have any insights for anybody that might be listening?
I think one thing is keeping your schedules, leave work at your allotted hours. That voicemail can wait. And if it's an emergency, then they'll find a way to reach you.
Right.
So what I've provided for my customers is like, here's my mobile number. I'll look through it after business hours. If it's an emergency, I'll be sure to address it. If it's not, I'm sorry, I have my family time. Address your time to where it belongs. And then I make a list every day. I need to address this, that, and I need to make sure regardless of what I do, I address these few items.
That's beautiful. So it goes in line exactly with what I'm doing, right? So I've worked from home for like 5 years, and I found a lot of situations like this. Like, you have to keep the schedule. You have to keep, you got to protect your time, whichever direction it's going, whether it's personal time or it's work time. And I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. Now, it's been a massive difference for me after I actually I've been working from home for 5 years. 3 years into working from home, I didn't have a morning routine. I didn't have an evening routine. I didn't have the separation of work and personal, and it actually led to some pretty heavy health problems. I developed a inflammation in my ankle that keeps me from walking in the morning and at night. And now it's turned into like this thing that won't go away, but I can manage it and keep it deflamed. I don't know what the word is for that, but keep it subsided, I guess, keep it lower and not hurting by managing my morning routine, by managing, making sure that I'm actually like hydrating, drinking water through the day. Like, even the little bitty simple things make the biggest difference. So I think you hit the nail on the head on that one.
Yeah, I think it's what we all need help with, right? Time management and leaving things where they are. I have a problem with that. It took me a while to be like, okay.
I still work on it.
Yeah, because your brain's still working, right?
Yeah.
And you want to go to it, right?
Yeah, my brain does not stop. But Carolina, thank you so much for jumping on the show and sharing this information. I think it's great insights for anybody listening that's trying to battle this whole thing and what to do and kind of how to manage like life and work right now. It's a huge challenge for a lot of people. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing, your story and the companies as well. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you bringing it all together and helping us all learn from each other.
Of course. Well, what we'll do is once you stay on real quick, we're going to wrap up the show, and thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.